Now, talking of fundraising, our fundraiser today is the founder of the Hull Veterans Breakfast Club. This year they're supporting a charity called Veterans in Action, who've sponsored walks taking place across the country to coincide with the start of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month. Dereck Hardman is on the line. Dereck, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Yes, very well, thanks. How are you? Tell us a bit, firstly, about the Hull Veterans Breakfast Club, if you would.
Well, the breakfast clubs, it's not just Hull. There's breakfast clubs now. There's 111 of them across the UK and into Europe. And they're basically groups of veterans from all arms of Her Majesty's Armed Forces who meet face-to-face for breakfast to associate, which leads them to regaining some of what they lost when they left the forces. So they're a service family, if you like. They're not charities or businesses, and they're all run by veterans for veterans. And we often get service personnel, serving service personnel attending some of them as well, full-time and territorial, and they're very welcome. And the clubs are simply aimed at the welfare and support of their members.
Yes, because I suppose it is a big difference, isn't it, going from a career in the forces to life outside on Civvy Street, and sometimes very hard to adjust.
Very, very difficult to adjust for a great many of them, because it's almost a completely alien world by the time they get out. Many of them join straight from school, as I did, where everything was your bills were paid, you had a uniform, a roof over your head. And that applies to school and the services. You had a regime to follow, and then when you get back out onto Civvy Street, you've bills. How do you pay them, and who do you pay them to, and finding accommodation and employment, and it's a completely alien world for many of them, and that's why so many of them end up on the streets, because they're already conditioned not to ask for help. They're conditioned to be self-sufficient and look after their own needs, and that's how many service personnel end up, well, not just on the streets, but in prison, which is very sad.
I know you're supporting Veterans in Action then. They're arranging sponsored walks, and one this October in Hull. Yep,
the 1st of October. The Veterans in Action they're a charity that sort of they quite often recruit veterans to actually work with them, but it helps them in many ways to regain some of their sort of self-esteem and guide them into reinserting themselves into society. But they are very much involved with helping veterans from the moment they leave the forces until they're sort of self-sufficient in Civvy Street, and they help with both physically and psychologically damaged guys and girls that have come out of the forces, and they are organising, well, I think there's currently 25 walks that are arranged at the moment countrywide, all at different times, but the one here in Hull, which we're calling the Walk4PTSD, Kingston upon Hull, starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday the 1st of October. It's actually been run for this side for us by Jan Fillinger, who's the wife of a Gulf War veteran herself, and she's our Walk4PTSD Kingston upon Hull organiser. So
if people wanted to help out in the meantime or get involved, I mean, obviously you'd like support, I'm sure. What can they do?
Well, the route's going to be an 11.5 mile route starting on the far side of the Humber Bridge. We're talking to the Humber Bridge Board, hoping that they'll help us out with tolls as donations or whatever with support vehicles. We're going to have some support vehicles. Anybody is welcome to join in. The route will go over the Humber Bridge, and then it'll go along Far Ings Road from Far Ings Road, that is, on the south bank. It'll come over the bridge, and it'll follow along the waterfront, and then it'll follow the cycle path to our breakfast club, Barker's Breakfast Club, which is on Kingston Way, Unit 1B on Kingston Way. Pete Barker's Motor Engineers, where we usually meet, and I'm sure there'll be some bacon sandwiches involved somewhere along the line. We'll have support vehicles with water, and if anybody wants to contact us and get involved, I mean, it could be organisations, they could if they want to wear logoed clothing, to sort of promote their businesses or whatever. We'd welcome teams from businesses. We've even got a bit of a race going on between a veteran soldier and a veteran sailor, who are going to. There's going to be a bit of a sort of service pride involved in that. They're both in training now, and if they'd like to get in touch, there's an email address which is walk4, number 4. That is walk plus number 4 PTSD at veteransbreakfastclubs.co.uk.
Okay, you want to give that out again, please?
Yep, it's walk, WALK, the number 4, PTSD. So it's walk4PTSD at veteransbreakfastclubs, all one word, .co.uk. They can send us an email there. We have actually got a page. It's for all the veterans breakfast clubs countrywide. And if they just do a search for Veterans Breakfast Clubs on Google, that will come up, and they can contact the Hull branch of that. But if anybody from anywhere else in the country would like to contact any of the other breakfast clubs, they can do so through that website, because many of the other breakfast clubs are involved as well. And
I've done that myself. It's easy to find. You're absolutely right. If you search for Veterans Breakfast Clubs, it comes up. It's very easy to find. All right. Well, it's a long way off, but good luck in the preparation for that. And thanks for your time, Dereck. Dereck Hardman there from the Hull Veterans Breakfast Club. Travel news now. The latest with Jason Hardy.